7 days a week, and I had nothing else to say. So yes, I shamelessly plug when I don't know what to talk about. Thank you for pointing that out, Azaraki.
I think the viewers can make that distinction themselves, but it looks like you're just getting into games, so I'm going to shut up now.
Alright, we'll go ahead and see you later, Azaraki. Thank you for coming in. So, how have you been, buddy?
I've been amazing. It's my first time casting with you. Casting pretty nervous. You know, you have good casting. Still learning the ways.
Well,
Um,
I've been at this for almost a year now. So, I
been at
mean,
this
hey,
for about 3 weeks.
it's okay. You can do it. I believe in you.
Just while the stream catches up loading in, just go ahead and start giving everybody a quick rundown. We do have Aurelia versus Jace in the top lane, and then in the jungle it is Jarvan versus Xin Zhao. Mid lane is featuring Lux versus Orianna, and bot lane is the Taric Tristana combo versus the Leona Draven. Real kill lane potential right there in the bottom. The gold count, we do have blue team ahead, 24.5k gold, 226 or 22.6k gold, and the kill total is 6 for the blue side and 4 for red, with no towers down yet.
Yeah, something I want to talk about, and this is something I constantly harp on whenever I see a Leona. I cannot stress enough. Kill lanes. They're either win hard or lose hard. There's not really an in-between for them. Especially somebody like Leona. You guys are either going to do really well or you're going to do really bad and not really have much presence throughout the team fight phase. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this bot lane goes, considering nobody really has kills coming out in the bot lane with the exception of Tristana having a couple of assists. So it's not too bad. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like we do have a minor skirmish going on between Jace. It may actually end in a kill for Irelia, but no, the smack away, and she will be forced to retreat.
Everything's looking really good. Looking into the item builds right now, it seems we have Draven in the bottom going to look to build towards that Blade of the Ruined King, very popular item. Tristan actually opting for the Bloodthirster, which I kind of agree with, and at the same time I don't. I feel the Blade of the Ruined King really brought Tristana back into the game, giving her that health percent damage, you know, with that insane attack speed she can get from activating her Q, the rapid fire. Looking into the mid lane, I mean, actually, just taking a quick break now that I noticed the farm difference in the bot lane. Tristana is just overwhelming Draven in farm. 152 to 112 CS. That's a huge difference in gold. Especially with Draven having 3 deaths, Lux looks very fed with the 4-1.
Yeah, Lux still a very powerful AP carry. She's kind of this flavor of the month champion, but for good reason. She's just insanely strong right now. Her burst potential is huge. If she manages to catch out an AD carry with that combo, they are guaranteed going to die without a GA.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a little small skirmish there in mid lane. Thought our Lux was about to try to burst down Orianna. Seems both teams are trying to prep for Dragon right now. Really just bullying each other, but blue side does have the pink ward there, so they're going ahead. A good thing to mention though, just to go ahead and touch on the team comps real fast, I really like Red's team comp because of how well the Orianna and Jarvan synergize. I feel that even with the Tristana and the Lux ahead, if they're able to land the Wombo combo of, you know, Jarvan's Cataclysm with Orianna's Shockwave, that's really going to devastate
And
anyone
Leona
caught in
is
that.
going to get caught out here. Xin Zhao going over the wall. The Lux ultimate will go out, but not manage to snare that Leona. And there's the J4 ultimate. Xin Zhao will fall to Draven. The Draven ultimate coming out. Leona will be taken down by Irelia. Irelia looking to snag a quick kill onto Draven, but no, she will get taken down here. Now Tristana trying to come in and get some nice jumps. She will manage to take out Draven, but now, no, she will get taken down by Jarvan in a 4-for-2 exchange in the favor of the red team. And this is also going to give them Dragon, extending a gold advantage to them right now.
Absolutely, that fight really went... The fight for blue team really went wrong because Lux's ultimate missed quite a few targets. I actually didn't see if it hit anyone, but I did see that it missed Leona, Draven, and Jarvan. So if she could have better aligned that ultimate, it would have really swung the tides of that fight, possibly even killed Orianna and Jarvan, judging by how low their health is.
Yeah, and I don't like Tristana's idea of just jumping into 3 people to gain a kill. She pretty much suicided there in the hopes of cleaning up, and it just didn't work out well for her overall. She's got that she's got a Bloodthirster, Zeal, and an Avarice Blade right now. Her farm, you know, doing a pretty nice job. Oh my goodness, I have to line that up or else that is going to bother me. There we go. You know, she's doing a pretty nice job farming against this Draven in the bot lane right now. You know, she's got nearly 50 farm on him. By all means, she should be ahead. Let's go ahead and actually take a quick look at the gold count to see where they stand. Tristana right now sitting at a little bit over 7,000 gold. Meanwhile, Draven only peaking on 6,000, so she's got an entire 1,000 gold ahead of him. That's quite a place to be ahead of him at this point in the game. An entire 1,000 gold. So, I mean, in all reality, she should be winning this bot lane matchup at this point. She should be doing fine against the carry lane. And in the top lane, we do have a bit of a skirmish going down, and no, that shock blast will not hit, and it looks like Heroic Ages will get out of here okay.
Absolutely. Just going back to Tristana jumping in the fight, it's really just, that really was bad position, because while, Tristana's rocket jump does do a lot of damage, she actually has not leveled that past the first level, so it's really weak. So as far as why she jumped in, I guess she was just being a firefighter, adding more fuel to the fire, which is never good in any case. Draven, on the other hand, reaping souls, he's going to be strong as long as he keeps his positioning good. His spinning axe is definitely going to chunk out damage, and once he grabs that Blade of the Ruin King, it'll just add percent damage. So while he is behind, that one item with the stats that it gives is just extraordinary as far as what he's going against. We actually have Jarvan and Orianna in mid lane just kind of looking like they want to fight Zen and Lux, but deciding that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, and it looks like Jay's having to use that slam to get Irelia away from him. He's really scared of her damage right now, and now she has no mana, so Jay's in a very advantageous position, could potentially engage on a White Castle here. And it looks like he will try and speed up, but no, he realizes he's not going to be able to catch up to her, and Irelia just going to back beneath the safety of her tower. Meanwhile, it looks like Leona and Draven looking for an opportunity to engage here, but the stun will go down onto Draven, and he will be forced to disengage.
I think what bottom lane really needs to do to win is they need to try to bait out that rocket jump from Tristana. It does have a 22-second cooldown because she hasn't leveled it at all. So if they're able to just force an engage, kind of scare Tristana just a little bit to where she'll rocket jump away and then immediately follow up.
Oh, and there's a stun coming out from Taric. We may see the engage here now. The Zenith Blade going down on Tristana. She will jump away, but the Draven ultimate will go out, and then Jarvan will lock them down. Lux looking to get in here. The shield will not be enough to save him. The light binding will not hit anybody, and it looks like everyone else is just going to disengage very nicely. Meanwhile, in top lane, Jace getting the first turret of the game in favor of his team. Obviously his team. Who else would it be in favor of?
He's just taking turrets for the blue team. Good guy, Jace.
Exactly. And it looks like we may have the potential tower dive coming out here. The Zenith Blade going down and the stun, but there is the ultimate. Tristana picking up a kill onto Leona. She will go ahead and go for the second kill. She will easily pick this up. I don't really think that flash was necessary to pick him up, as the tower had already secured that kill for her. It would have been better used to pick up the triple kill, but now she's just going to go back under turret and try and play it safe. Not the smartest play on this Tristana, but
I think it was more of one of those panic flashes than anything.
Yeah.
I think she saw her life flash before her eyes. Of course, red team was trying to figure out how to call out that name. They're not quite sure how to call out to kill Tristana. Her name is pretty insane.
You know what? We're just going to call him Tristana, make this really easy for everybody. But no, Tristana just opting to farm up right now. Orianna getting a little bit of vision in that brush by using her ball. Very nice job on her part to scout out before going potentially in way too deep. And Tristana now opting to back while Orianna defends a turret that has now been pushed up.
Absolutely. During that fight, that tower did go down. Lux just going ahead and grabbing that, or not, I'm sorry, Orianna did grab that, and just went ahead and tried to head bottom lane and try to secure that kill. So it's really nice. Not like in most solo queue situations, as soon as the fight happens, you would just see the mid laner run down there, not pushing objective. Orianna made the smart decision of pushing mid, killing that tower, and then going down and see if she could pick up anything rather than wasting time. So it was really smart play by them.
Yeah, it looks like SW, and I'm just going to call him SW because I know the name he's going for, and there's no way I'm saying that on stream. Just going to opt to try and hold the lane right here and get Tristana back in here for some more last hits. She's just skyrocketing over Draven in terms of farm and gold right now. Just doing an excellent job and further extending that gold gap. Now, the gold count is actually very close on both teams, but the only thing that's really keeping blue in this right now is really the farm difference. It's really the only thing that's keeping them relatively close in farm at the moment.
Absolutely. I think that while the CS scores are similar and the gold is close, I believe that just because of the item choices the red team has, that they're so much farther ahead. Like, I can't, with Jace having completed that Muramana, he's going to be adding a lot more damage onto his auto attacks. The Bloodthirster giving him sustain. At the same time, you look bot lane, Draven was behind, picked up that Blade of the Ruined King, so no matter what, he's going to be effective in fights because of that percent damage.
But I don't like Draven building Blade of the Ruined King, so I'd like to think that I play with Dravens fairly regularly, and ooh, the Lux ultimate coming out will not manage to snipe it, but will manage to get just a little bit of damage down while they disengage. Draven's main damage comes from his spinning axes, not his auto attacks. Blade of the Ruined King doesn't do nearly as much for him as, say, a more Season 2 oriented AD carry build will do for him in terms of damage. So Blade of the Ruined King would actually be better built on Tristana, who has that steroid, who has great scaling attack speed, who is a hyper carry, but instead opts to build Static Shiv, and I don't understand that because Avarice Blade takes like 400 farm to pay off for itself. This is a really not smart choice at all when it comes to builds on this Tristana. The Bloodthirster was a great choice, but Static Shiv was just really out there, and it looks like Leona is going to go ahead and land this Zenith Blade. The stun will come out as well as the ultimate, but Tarek knows that he's caught at this point, and there we go, the Jarvan ultimate coming out, the Leona ultimate being bursted, but it will not be enough to pick her up, and now Lux is coming in to this bot lane fight right now. The light binding coming out, but it is not going to be enough to pick up any kills. It looks like Xin Zhao coming out, but Orianna doing the right thing and scouting, and ooh, there goes the ultimate, bringing down Orianna incredibly low. Hopefully she doesn't get caught out by anything.
Absolutely, and a good thing to note there was Orianna's ult was burn that fight. She actually, I think she tried to shield Jarvan and then ult, but her ult triggered before the shield, so her ult was just wasted on thin air. So her ultimate is down.
Oh, and there we go, the flash. Oh, there we go, and that will be a very dead Orianna. Exactly what I was worried about. Perhaps not taking the safest route to back at this point.
Not at all. She definitely wanted to go grab that CS, but was it worth it in the end? Not quite. Really is going to just look to shove down this tower. We do have Jarvan coming up to react to that, thankfully.
Yeah,
but going back to what we were talking about before with the Draven and Tristana, the way I kind of view this situation is I believe Bloodthirster is a much better item on Draven, but due to how far behind he is, he had to go for the cheaper item, and Blade of the Ruined King is much, much cheaper than Bloodthirster, and at the same time, it's still giving him 15% lifesteal compared to Bloodthirster when after you fully farm it is only 18%. So I think for right now that item's good, and it's keeping him in the game, and then at some point later on, he just needs to go ahead and sell that and exchange it for Bloodthirster.
Huh, I didn't actually know Blade of the Ruined King was cheaper than Bloodthirster after its nerfs. That's pretty interesting and good to know. So, I mean, that could be a potential reason for him opting to build that, but it still does not excuse this Tristana's build. Nothing excuses this Tristana's build, and the stun coming out from Leona, just taking so much damage from that Tristana. I mean, 4-2-5 with 259 farm. Definitely not a bad Tristana player by any means, but she is still a hyper carry, and she's getting kind of out of that pokey mid-game phase that Tristana tends to have. Very strong early game, very strong late game, but really has a pokey middle game that is not always fun to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of why Tristana's become so much more popular.
Oh, and hang on a second, I'm getting information in that they both cost 3,200 gold after the Blade of the Ruined King nerfs went out, so they are actually the same amount of gold.
Oh, that's actually good to know. Well, in that case, then yeah, I think Draven should have just went with the Bloodthirster. Maybe it was just better off for him to pick up the ingredients for Blade of the Ruined King rather than the BF sword at the time. Possibly maybe he wanted that slow in lane. I'm not quite sure now.
The longswords may have been cheaper option than just building the straight out Bloodthirster in the early game. That could have been a potential option, but we weren't here to necessarily see that. In the meantime, we do see him picking up the ingredients for an Infinity Edge, and I really do like that. I think an IE suits his kit very well and suits what Draven does exceptionally well. But still, this Last Whisper Static Shiv combo on Tristana is killing me right now.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I think there's much better money to be spent on Tristana. She has a great gameplay, great mechanics, but well, other than the rocket jump into the team, but she's doing great thus far. I think if she improved her item build, I think blue team would be so much farther ahead.
I completely agree with you. And it looks like
down that top tower.
Yeah, it looks like blue team in the meantime just opting to go and pressure tower everywhere they can. Draven coming, or Jace coming in here. Why am I confusing Jace and Draven so much? But Draven coming in here and pressuring that top lane tier 2 turret, and Lux actually having to ultimate to try and keep it safe from a distance. And it looks like Jace may just be opting to come back in here and pressure it again the moment that it's clear to do so. The pings have gone down, so they are alerted to this happening, and now Jace is just like, I'm gonna sit here and hit this turret, and another ultimate coming out from Lux, but it will not be enough to save that turret. A turret will go down as they further the map control and further their advantage.
I'm really confused as to why Aurelia went bot lane to try to hold out. She clearly wasn't going to get much farm against the Leona Draven. She was just kind of down there wasting time while Jace just constantly farming, putting himself even farther ahead of her. I don't know that I agree with that decision, but trying to defend a tier 1 for a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, and it looks like Heroic Ages
right
may get caught out. The flash has been burned over the wall. Heroic Ages will manage to get out of here. Irelia not going to be picking anything up from that. Meanwhile, down in bot lane, Tristana just pushing pretty much as hard as she can, because at this point it's just auto attack to farm.
We actually had I'm confusing Draven and Jarvan now.
I know, right?
We actually have Jarvan just stole the red buff from them, so it looks like we're gonna have Tristana just pushed up on this tower, attacking Buddha. That's never a nice thing to do. You don't want to hurt Buddha.
No, that's not very nice. Now, an interesting thing that was pointed out to me is that Jace has actually opted to build a Bloodthirster and a Last Whisper. What do you think of this item combination coming out on a tanky bruiser like Jace?
Well, Jace is really just trying to get up in their face right now, so he's so strong and so far ahead. He's going to have that Muramana just adding another 2% attack damage, or more attack damage based on 2% of his maximum mana. So he's going to be hitting like a truck. At the same point, he doesn't have any tanky items, so he can still be killed fairly easy. He does have that Bloodthirst to give him that little bit of sustain, but Jace is not meant to be a tank of sorts. He's just meant to go in, be kind of an off tank, if you would want to say that. He's really putting the tanky role into Jarvan. Jarvan's going to leap into the team, and you're just going to have Jace do his acceleration gate, shock blast combo, and that's just going to chunk people for damage that are trapped inside the Cataclysm. So he's just trying to, again, add to that nuke combo of anyone that's unfortunate enough to get trapped. With the Cataclysm, the Shockwave, forget what Draven's ultimate is called, Whirling Death, and then the Gate Shock Blast, it's really just it can potentially burst down their whole team.
Yeah, and I really like what the red team is doing right now. They're trying to distract the blue team to open up more objectives for them and further their advantage. And it is working out extremely well for them right now as they've managed to pull ahead by about 4k right now. And here we go, Draven again. Spinning axe damage. Blade of the Ruined King. Avarice Blade at this point in the game, not an appropriate build. I feel like I'm in bronze elo right now. I know that's mean, and I know I'm kind of coming down on these guys really hard, but I feel like at the level some of these guys are playing at, in a mechanical sense, that they shouldn't be making some of these build mistakes. And looks like Xin Zhao is going to come in here, but the ultimate coming out from Orianna will fend off Tristana as well as Xin Zhao, as Jarvan looks for an opening to engage, or perhaps just to defend.
Yeah, we do have pings coming down from the blue team onto Baron, so they might be trying to look to move into that. I'm not sure that would be a wise decision right now. It doesn't look like Orianna's going to back. So she made this mistake before of she's actually finally going back. They're clearing out wards for Baron. They probably sensed that Orianna's going to go back, but judging from earlier, they're not sure. So we might actually start seeing this Baron dance come out. It can be, hopefully it's not one of those CLGU Baron dances that we're here for 40 minutes just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Tristana is going back, so they're just going to back off from that. She actually picks up, she looks like she's going for the Infinity Edge now, picking up that BF sword and that pickaxe.
The builds on the 80 carries right now make me want to cry. I mean, I understand that Avarice gives Draven critical hit as well as attack speed, but it's an item that you'd want to build on much earlier on the game, not 35 minutes into a game. There is no reason to build an Avarice Blade that late in the game, unless you're just opting for a static shift. But again, he gets the majority of his damage from spinning axes. He shouldn't be worried about auto attack based items. He should be worried about boosting up his crit, boosting up the attack damage on his abilities, getting the lifesteal out. So Bloodthirster, IE would be great combos on him, but not an Avarice Blade at 35 minutes into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going to see... He's already earned 116 gold from it, but compared to what he just put into it, the 800, when he goes back to upgrade that, which I'm going to safely assume is going to a static shift, then he's lost some gold out there. So he definitely, just a note for the kids back home, if you're going to go for a static shift and you want to get that average play, it's generally a good idea to pick it up early and just leave it there until later in your build so you start racking in that gold or have the average blade pay off later on.
Yeah, I do hate to harp on it so much, but it's just really important to note that, Draven wasn't made to be just an auto-attacking AD carry. He was made to make use of his mini-game of those spinning axes, of which you can't really do with a build like this. You don't have the kind of potency that you really want to come out right now. Draven does well with crit. He does well with physical attack damage. Attack speed isn't necessarily bad on him, but you just want to get those spinning axes out as much as possible. And right now, I don't see Draven living up to the potential that he really could have in these fights. And meanwhile, Tristana, I don't know what Tristana has been doing with this Static Shiv IE build when there's not even a lot of armor coming out from, not Static Shiv IE, Static Shiv Last Whisper coming out on her, when there's just not a lot of damage, armor coming out from the red team. And it looks like Jarvan is going to come in here, engage a wombo combo going down, and there is the ultimate. It is going to be burned, and instantly Orianna will be taken out by Xin Zhao. And now Jarvan taking out him in return. Irelia will take down Draven, and now the chase is on for Chase. He will get down very low, and Tristana managing to pick him off. But Leona coming in here with the stuns down onto Taric. I don't think that was the greatest idea, as Jarvan will take him down. But there is the ace, a 2-for-5 exchange in favor of the red team right now. Orianna doing mad work in that fight. Quite a bit of damage coming out from both her and Lux right now.
Absolutely, really did a great job of sticking on to Draven. What I really want to point out from that last fight is the difference that an item build would have made. Draven, by opting to go for that static shiv, really, screwed himself in that fight. If he would have opted to go for the armor penetration that I kind of feel is more important on him, going for that black cleaver, it would have been a world's difference. That little bit of health that Aurelia has left would have been gone because of the percent damage, and then on top of that, the armor penetration that black cleaver gives. He would have been able to survive Aurelia and possibly have been there to clean up that fight a little bit better. A static shiv in that situation didn't help him as much. While it did give him the occasional 100 bonus magic damage to hit 4 targets, that's not enough as compared to the other stats that Draven could have picked up at this point in the game.
Absolutely. Now, we are seeing the gold advantage swing a little back towards blue team. That last fight, that ace, will surely keep them in the game for a little while longer. With the turrets all tied up right now, I'd say this game is probably going to boil down to who's going to be able to get a Baron and then get a nice clean ace off.
Yeah, absolutely. And they really have to focus on who they kill in these next fights, because if Aurelia or Zen or Tristana are alive, they're really going to be able to seize down quickly. If they want to push for the base, they need to try to kill out those main targets. They need to put a lot more focus on it. Tristana just kind of ran wild that last fight and hardly ever got hit, so they really need to dive onto them. They've got a nice comp. Jarvan can just do the flash cataclysm and be right on top of her, and then EQ if she tries to leap away, and then that's when you just need to nuke them down.
Now,
you really need to get on these carries.
Yeah, red team is rocking a very, very strong AoE comp in theory, but their execution of it has been lackluster at best, and it's not really their fault. It's more so an issue coming out from the enemy team, just having those escapes and opting to get out of there. And Jarvan coming into this Baron pit a little too late, the Orianna ult coming out, and there goes the Cataclysm, but SW, apostrophe G, will manage to pick up that kill. Taric opting to get revenge on to that Jarvan, and now it looks like blue team is just going to go ahead and push top here and try and apply some more pressure around the map while Jarvan is dead.
And they definitely wanted to make sure that there was no potential for a smite steal. Lux going ahead and burning her ultimate on top of that with Zen's smite. It was just a definite secure. Jarvan didn't even get a chance to smite. That's how fast they killed it.
Yeah, that's certainly not a bad idea at all. Like I said, this game is mostly going to come down to who manages to get Baron and really who makes the most use of it. Now, it's all going to be on the blue team. This is pretty much their game to throw at this point. They've got Baron. They've got the advantage. They can start hammering down these towers to get the gold that they need in order to come out on top in these fights. And oh, here we go, the Lux ultimate going down, and Orianna will get caught out here. She will instantly get burned, and Leona falling quickly after the double kill, going to Trist, and Lux cleaning up Jace. And this will surely be an inhib, if not game, on the part of the blue team. They are just going to push up here. Are they just going to go to finish the game? Yes, they are just going to go to finish the game. Jarvan and Draven left to defend, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough, and I think they are just going to call it a game, and the GGs come out, and that is going to be that, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. Xin Zhao showing he is not some newbie. He has grown up to be a man. He has evolved.
Oh god, no. Please
He's going to go on his quest with Mulan.
No, why'd you do it? Why did you do it? You had to go there.
Absolutely. Fun note about me, every time I play Xin Zhao in ranked, I have that song playing in the background.
Do you really?
I feel like it gets me more pumped and in character.